I'm Rebecca Matthias, Intuitive Success Coach, and I am here with you this week to share a training tip on the top things that you need to do in your business for wherever you're at. And if you're newly starting out, this is going to apply really to you, or if you haven't yet reached the part in your business where you're hiring on other team members, this is going to be of major value to you. And it will only be valuable to you to the degree in which you choose to apply it in your own business. So the interesting thing about entrepreneurship is that you can be pulled into a million different directions in any given moment all throughout the day. I'm the single mom of 2 boys, and even though they're at school for a portion of the day, there's all kinds of other distractions that are pulling on you. If you are starting out with emptying out your email inbox in the morning and you're basically serving other people's agendas. There is a transitional period for entrepreneurs when they're solopreneurs and they don't yet have a team and they're not headed toward company status or whatever that would look like for you, multiple 6-figure status. And it's really challenging because it requires a high level of discipline in order to create this boundary around you. I remember when I first started my business back in 2010, I think it was like a year into the business, and I was doing free training calls to build my list. And at the time, I'm still in the same office space as I was back then, but at the time I did not have doors on my office. It was always a dream of mine to finally have doors on my office so that if the doors were shut, it meant that I would not be bothered. And it's really important for you to set up boundaries for yourself as to what that looks like. I heard a coach of mine say that unless the house is on fire or unless someone needs an ambulance, I'm not to be disturbed. And I adopted that principle, and I had to because I didn't have doors on my office at the time. So now that I've painted the picture for you to know what it was like in my office back then, you can laugh along with me at this experience that I had while I was doing a training call, where I was in the middle of teaching this incredible training call, and I had told both of my sons that they needed to stay in their rooms and be quiet for an hour and find a quiet activity like a puzzle or something like that so that mommy could do this training call. And my youngest son ended up sitting at the top of the steps and singing the entire training call. And it was hilarious because I really felt stuck because I couldn't leave the control panel of where I was managing the phone call from to go yell at him. And obviously I was doing a soliloquy and being the training of this particular topic, whatever it was at the time. And so he literally was singing in the background the whole entire time. So if you're on this entrepreneurial journey, it's not perfect. There's a great example, and I really love when people can be vulnerable and open, and it's not about presenting yourself as being perfect and all of these things. The entrepreneurial journey is such a journey of learning about yourself and learning about how you operate and how you function better and how you're most productive. Some people might use the Pomodoro technique. If you haven't heard of it, Google it. It's an interesting way to get more done. And so I want to encourage you that until you have a team, what happens for us as entrepreneurs or as solopreneurs is that we don't have structure, right? There's no one that we have to finish something by for a particular deadline. It's like, oh, I'll push this training call off to another date because I didn't get the email campaign written, or I'll just not send a newsletter this week to my list. And that is going to piggyback upon what I shared with you last week in regards to being consistent. And when you're consistent in your business, people are going to learn to trust you more. They're going to learn to rely upon you more. And if you're giving massive value without asking for something first, then you're going to build credibility with them really quickly. So I want you to take a minute to think about and maybe even jot down 3 things that you can do in your business this week that will have you being more accountable even if you don't have team members. And if you do have team members, then setting deadlines and adhering to them and being the boss and being the company owner and really showing up from that energetic place where you're letting your team members know this is what I expect of you, and you're having a weekly team meeting, even if it means you only have one person on your team. When I was at that place, I still had a team meeting, and we'd still meet every week and we'd talk about what was working, what wasn't working, what are the numbers, what's converting, what are we working on, and you can set those structures up for yourself as well. But until you really have deadlines and people who are waiting on you for video editing or marketing funnels and Facebook ads because you've built your team to 7 or 8 people, it can be very challenging to find structure and organization in your business. And I've been there and I've struggled through it and I've felt frustrated, and I've taken online tests like Strength Finder and Kolbe to try and just figure out how does my brain work and how can I be more self-motivated and self-disciplined. So I encourage you to stick with it because you do have a gift to bring to the world, or you would not be watching this video. So have an awesome rest of the day, and until next time, I will see you later.